evening blessings and salutations.
Good
How's
evening,
everyone?
everybody.
Good night.
Good night, guys. Good night. Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good evening. Good night. Sorry.
Ranchi, I didn't even realize you sound like you have a little.
I have a no. I don't
Oh,
know. No, I'm
okay.
good. I
Okay.
guess I just getting older, and the bass coming in now.
Oh God, really? You're getting older. Okay.
Yeah. Um,
Getting better. Getting better. Older
Okay.
no,
is
we're
only
going.
better.
No, we're going. I use it older. Cause I want my salt and pepper to start busting out here, so I can walk this thing.
You going yeah, definitely.
You check it out.
Wow.
You check it.
You want to be a part of the beard game?
Sorry.
Huh?
Are you going to be a part of the beard game?
It looks
Trying to
like
think,
you.
man. If she push out, right there.
Louis, throwing
That's,
some pointers because your salt and
that's
pepper on
just
point.
that's just age. I can't do nothing about that. That's age.
No. Yeah.
No, Louis full on. Louis full on. It coming good for him already. Now he up there.
I let it
He
grow out a
getting
little bit, but I still got to trim it down though. I would try to like really get real bushy. That in between period, I can't.
by the in between
There's
to be
something I can't mess
horrible
with
one.
that.
She'll be horrible self, but good.
Yeah, I can't deal with that.
So, Ranchi, I like the conversation,
Are you live or
the conversation that y'all like the other day. Y'all like that? The conversation between the couples.
Which one that be?
I just okay. It
Ben,
was a
go
love and
Ben, I want to
enlightenment.
try.
I saw that you liked it, and you were the only person who liked it, so that's why I asked. It was a
Wait, this was
conversation
supposed
with
to be
the couples. The couples were having some deep talk. They were getting insightful about and asking questions about their intimate life. Karen, you didn't see it? Yeah.
I
You
don't
know, them
remember.
conversations that we don't claim that we must have, those deep conversations.
Is that the one with the cue cards? No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the one with the
Tonight's,
cue cards?
yeah, tonight's
Oh, I
conversation.
like that.
I think
like that.
I think I want to get a pair. That's it.
Yeah.
It seemed like it's fun.
The
It is
guy
fun.
that yes.
Oh yeah. Yeah, those are good.
So when we have our game night, my daughter got them. They're really good.
They're really good.
I
I like the topics they come up with,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get them just in case.
I was just on the thriller, from the commercial part of it.
And I think it's a good educational point. It allows you to have certain conversations.
Yeah, and I think we need to have, I don't know, at this stage in our life, I think we need to have these conversations because I think sexual compatibility is very important,
At this stage in my life, ain't really like a conversation. It's like a disclaimer for me. Like,
Who's seeing this? Who's seeing this? I say it because I got government job.
we ain't talking about nothing. Like,
Okay.
No,
I just saying like
Good evening, Dr. Williams. Long time no see.
I like that you said.
I'm telling you.
No, we're just checking in. Literally tonight, we just want to check in with everybody again. Thank you, Louis, Karen, Nikki, Pinky, and Ranji for coming on tonight. We are going to officially go back live as of next week, Thursday at 8:30. And our lives are, we took our summer hiatus to get refreshed and recharged. And so this is just a check-in to see how everybody's doing and to kind of let everybody know what we have in store. Should I wait to say that a little bit later? Let me just ask a quick question while we're getting ready tonight.
We ain't ready yet.
When you all hear the word forbidden, what's the first thing that comes to mind? I'll go first.
why Yano's face look like that?
I know,
Because Janos was supposed to go first.
oh yeah, that's right. Sorry.
But Yano's, why you
But
frightened?
you're not
Let
gonna say
Debbie say what she has to say, and I
Yeah,
can go after
you're
Debbie.
not gonna say what I'm gonna say.
I can go after Debbie. It's
He
okay.
just didn't want to go before me. Go after.
Yeah, he just wanted to go before.
I'm fine. I guess we're going in the order that what we had on the monitor. But go
Yeah.
ahead, Debbie.
So when I hear the word forbidden, obviously I think of the instant thing that comes to my mind is the forbidden fruit. That's just what comes to my mind when I hear the word
The
forbidden.
forbidden fruit?
Yeah. That's
The
the first
apple in
thing.
the garden?
Yeah, that's the first thing that comes to my mind when I
Really?
hear the word forbidden. Oh, I don't
Really?
use
She
the
just
word.
agreed.
I don't use the term for anything else. So that's the
Yeah.
first thing. Hey, Danelle, good night. That's the first thing that comes to my mind when I hear the word. You know. So Louis, you want to go next?
When I hear the word forbidden in the context or in relation, as it relates to being with someone in a relationship, I think about infidelity because that's forbidden. And I think of what some people may consider forbidden, not for me, but like threesomes. Because remember we had a conversation about that. Some people may consider that as a forbidden thing, but I'm open to.
What's forbidden to you, Janos?
I just
That's
said
what
it.
you just said.
Oh, okay.
Are we here?
I was looking at something.
Yeah.
but
We're all here, Pinky. Hey, welcome.
I was looking at something. Okay, that was me. Sorry.
That's
Okay.
okay.
Karen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, first, it depends on how forbidden is being used. But
Did I just say
instantly,
that?
when I hear forbidden,
Right.
I think of restriction. Like, it's a trigger word for me. One thing, we all have triggers, but for me, and this is from a young age, but forbidden for me means like restriction. Like you can't do. That's it. It's like a suffocating word for me. So it causes me to want to do what you just tell me I can't do. So. That's me when it comes to forbidden. Like if you forbid me to do something, I'm gonna just do it because you tell me I can't do it. So it's a trigger word for me.
It's a challenge for Karen.
Yeah,
naughty, Sasha.
Like
For Sasha, not for Karen, for Sasha.
Naughty Sasha.
Karen is a whole new Karen is my government name, so I choose not to use it. But forbidden for me is like restriction. It's a trigger word for me. It's like somebody telling me I can't do something, and I'm gonna definitely do it just because you tell me I can't do it.
How about
I
you,
wouldn't
Ron?
want to date you. I wouldn't want to date you.
Karen, what your
Sasha.
sign be?
Huh?
Karen, what your sign is?
I'm a Capricorn.
Capricorn,
December
okay.
26th. I deep in
Okay.
it.
Okay.
You said deep, you're about to come out, so.
Okay.
Capricorns
Who
are
did
But
next
we
one?
are both fours, so
Nikki?
yeah.
How about you, Ranchi?
But why is that it's like a warning
I
for
on the
you?
same page. I'm sorry. I
He's
on the
a
same
Gemini.
page.
There's nothing forbidden.
Oh, yeah.
Say
Yeah,
that
I
again,
on the
Ranchi.
same page. I on the same page here with Sasha. Okay, with Sasha.
See?
Don't put me in no box. From time I hear forbidden, is that you put me in a box. If it come from government, you put me in a box. If it come inside my household, you put me in a box. I ain't want to be in no box. Don't tell me I can't do. I gonna do what you tell me I can't do. Just to show you that I gonna do what you tell me I can't do. And I didn't want to do it, but now that you tell me that I can't do it, is why I'm gonna end up doing it. So you don't challenge me. No.
Yeah, that's a
The two of you gonna get in trouble. I can tell you that.
That's what I'm saying.
Don't like the two. They ain't gonna share ourselves.
No means no.
Be in the same box.
No, man, you can't. Don't say forbidden. Come with something different. Say you don't like. Tell me, you would rather not.
I think forbidden is such a judgmental word. Like
yeah, you say forbidden. That's like
it's like
heavy.
somebody put in school, like somebody put a rock on your shoulder until you knock it off. That's fight. Like
One
I can
time.
knock it off.
One time.
Bam.
Okay,
You know?
that's interesting.
You guys never had that? I never had that.
Layers.
You guys never had that in school where they put the stick on your shoulder until you knock it off? That's how fight's supposed to start. I can't
You push stick on your shoulder?
Well, I ain't never been in a fight, never been close to a fight.
No, man,
See, a fight is forbidden, but hey, just saying.
My sister used to fight all my battles for me because she's just that type.
Yeah, and then she just said, "Don't look out for her." But that's a whole different story.
She doesn't call for me.
How about you, Pinky?
Nikki, I laughed. Nikki's guess.
What? Oh, forbidden for me. I didn't think of anything y'all said. I was thinking about sex and what's forbidden.
Okay. So when you hear that term, that's the first thing that comes to your mind.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
So then I wasn't after.
not certain aspects of sex. Let me be clear.
See,
okay.
I wasn't far off. See, so
Okay.
So,
yeah.
so not the threesome, but the one.
Well,
the
I'm
one,
just saying.
two.
Okay.
That didn't come out right, I don't think, Trey.
Yes, I know. What do you mean? No,
Don't
I
even,
said-
Nikki, don't even go down the hole.
No,
Don't even-
because Louis did mention threesomes that he was into it. I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about
Hold on. Just
Talking
the way you
about this.
said that, I said I didn't have an issue with it.
right. That's what I
Yeah,
was
I
saying.
don't. I mean,
That's
you
what
know,
I
yeah,
meant.
I
That's
don't,
what I
you know,
meant.
but
When she said he was
it's just different how you just put it just now. It doesn't really came
like
out,
he
you
was
know, it was just,
promoting it.
yeah, it was,
I'm
yeah,
messing things up then.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
let me just stick
I
to
don't have a
let me
problem
just
with
stay
it.
on my path. I was going to break down.
Wow.
yeah, people,
Not Louis blushing.
no, it's just, I just, the way it came out, that's all. But it's okay.
Exactly.
He got
That's all.
flushed.
How about you? How about
Well, to be, let me just be clear because I kind of skirting around the issue.
Yeah, I think you said it. Yeah, you make
So what I was thinking about was I've been having discussions with friends, and one of the issues that came up is expectations when you date people you're not committed to, and what you're willing to do in the bedroom, or what people should say or believe they should say for marriage. So in that aspect, there's some things that are forbidden, that's off the table unless it's in a committed relationship.
Okay.
Better? Thanks.
That's a
Yeah,
very
that's
good point.
That's good. That's good. And how about you, Pinky?
Anything brutal off the table.
So when you hear forbidden, that's what comes to your mind?
Yes, anything brutal off the table, forbidden. Like, yeah, for me.
Anything, are you saying anything that's brutal is forbidden?
For me.
Okay, I see what you say.
Okay.
Everything that's brutal.
Masochistic.
So anything that's pleasurable, you're okay with.
Say that again, Reggie.
Like a slap on the arm.
So everything that would probably bring you pleasure, you're okay with. You never tried it before, so it's not forbidden. So you're
No,
open
so
to everything.
I've heard people before talk about people like choking people. I did think sexually in that context, like forbidden. When I heard that word, that's what I
Yes,
thought. Right?
But
Some
what's
people have had this conversation. I know I've heard it.
define
We've had
brutal
this
law?
conversation.
Define
Okay,
that.
so when you said the word forbidden, I said, well, what is forbidden really? And in my mind, I was like, this would have to be things that would be sexual, like my sister explained, like she explained it very well. And I was like, so what would be forbidden? And there's a lot of things that's acceptable, right? So I tried to watch 50 Shades of Grey, and like I really found it tough because it was really stressing me out. So I just saying, yeah, like people choking you and people like hurting you and stuff like that. Them things
That's
is
what you-
forbidden.
That's what you
But
have to
you
do your
ever
research.
tried it?
Yeah, but I mean, you know, it's interesting.
And I don't want to.
But that's the
It's
thing, Pinky. You don't know what it is until you try it. And sometimes when your hormones spiking, you just allow certain things because certain things feel pleasurable while your hormones spiking.
Don't knock it. Don't
I don't
knock
want
it till
nobody
the
hitting
trend.
Are
me.
you saying that when your hormones are spiking, you're delusional? Like anything that go, like you don't think straight?
No,
Like
not
You just
anything.
make a bad comment.
Anything. We still got some kind of control, but
No, what hormones? Oh, I see what you're saying. You mean in the throes of heat, passion, not just hormones
is it
spiking.
hormones or when you're in a passionate mood?
You're talking about being passionate in the middle of passion.
the moments of passion, man.
Yes.
The moments
Okay.
of passion, man.
In a moment, okay, in a moment of passion, you could make that.
No, I will turn the passion right off. Like, no. When I
There's certain things that's just
not hitting, nobody ain't bringing no whips. I'm putting nothing around my neck. Nobody ain't tying me to nothing.
What?
Yeah, look at you see.
Okay, but okay, let me Dr. Williams wrote, Dr. Williams wrote, for most people under the banner of biblical teachings automatically gravitate to what they've been taught. The word has to be dealt in context. So I guess you know, for some people when they hear forbidden, the context that it's heard, but I mean
it's how it's used because
exactly.
everybody
Because
is
for
still
me,
different.
when I think about forbidden, I think about kind of the first time I've ever heard the word forbidden.
Right.
And it was for me, it was in the Bible. You know, like my mother never used the word forbidden. So that's what I'm saying.
And
Like
for me, when I hear
when
forbidden is like I said, for me, it's a trigger. It's like somebody telling me I can't do something.
That's why I tell you,
Did
you're
you?
gonna get in trouble.
I like what Diane put.
And I
Diane
won't
put.
lie. You not get in trouble. I have gotten in trouble like many times. Like from the time I've been a child up until the other day at work, I get in trouble because somebody tell me I can't do something. Like I forbid you. Like I's a grown,
Well, see,
hard
that's
and
my saying.
a grown, hard and back stinking big woman. Are you gonna tell me I can't do something? No.
Yeah. No, see, to me that's why I never thought in that context. Because nobody gonna tell me, a grown woman, I have to decide what is forbidden. I have to decide that for myself. And so when I think about what is forbidden, stuff like that.
No, I disagree. People do have to tell you what's forbidden so that then you could push past what's forbidden. Right?
I don't.
Sasha Fierce just
you need to
said.
be able to measure.
Sasha Fierce just said exactly, Louis. Right? If somebody
How would you know?
she gotta know it's forbidden first to even
Right.
push
How would you
past
know?
it.
Exactly.
Right.
Well, forbidden
Debbie was
means
talking about
not
the truth.
allowed, a ban. That's that's the definition of forbidden. So when somebody telling you cannot do something, forbidden is not allowed and banned. That's the definition of it. So that's how I see it.
Think I don't walk in a workplace. I've never been outside of the home. So that word forbidden for me, I had to make it personal. And I don't recall ever anybody telling me anything was forbidden. I mean, we have rules that we have to follow in society and stuff like that.
My parents have forbidden me to do something, and whether they know or not, but they don't know now. But I do it like,
yeah.
Like I said, like
no, let me hear it. Go ahead. Don't stop. Keep
Nikki
that
Nikki
process.
said I gonna get in trouble, but she's right. I've gotten in trouble for doing forbidden stuff, but for me, it's more like a challenge. I take it personally when you tell me I can't do something. Like, who is you? Like, and I think
I never went
you
back
see,
to China.
that's how you're looking at it. But then when you think about what Debbie said, right?
Right.
Debbie said she think about a garden. So
and
really, and
that
truly,
resonates with what Dr. Williams is saying, that it goes back to like how it was taught, how it was like she was taught biblically. Like, of course, I've heard it, in the whole Adam and Eve, I've heard it, but that wasn't the first thing I think of. That's not like I think about what my experience was with forbidden. Like I was forbidden. Like for instance, as a young child, I wanted to do something. I used to like to hang out with the boys and climb the trees and jump down and my parents would tell me, I can't do it. You can't do it because you're not a boy. Like, of course, my uniform get tear up because they drag off the tree and I get beat for it. But
I don't remember
it's a trigger.
Forbidden rules. You remember forbidden rules?
We didn't have any.
I don't. I didn't go back to childhood, and I just went to know what.
But then let's look at it from a different standpoint, right? Let's look at it as not forbidden, but
prohibited.
Line in the sand kind of thing. That idea of what thresholds we would not pass.
Over.
Guidelines.
I think prohibited is synonymous with forbidden.
What we would accept and what we won't accept. That's different.
That's how I looked at it. Like,
okay, so for me, I didn't look at it that way. I just look at it from like the true definition of somebody.
But then that's not forbidden though.
That's not forbidden. That's like what you. That's like your level of acceptance. Like what are you going to accept and what are you not going to accept? But still, it depends on the context. Like in a relationship, there's certain things like we wouldn't accept, no matter how old we is, no matter how much, if we try it once, like nobody gonna get me to jump onto a plane bike or zip line. I'll compromise with that. So for me, I think it's just the usage and the context that it's used in, and sometimes even who you're coming from.
Cool. Well, it's again, this just shows you like everybody has different. Everybody has different views. Everybody has different experiences. And so it's always interesting. And that was actually a question from Esther Perel. She has cards now too. And that was a question from her cards. So, I love to ask them questions. I just want to let everybody know for going into our new year, with Love and Enlightenment, we are going to be having on the 4th Thursday of every month, we're going to give people an opportunity, and we're hoping that it will be a male and a female on that night, to put themselves out there because they feel like they're ready to put themselves out there, to be seen, to be noticed, whatever. And one of our first males that is going to showcase is my one and only cuz. So make sure you all log in that night so you can hear, because we're gonna be asking him those questions.
Oh, that's the shit.
Yeah. So again, if you're interested, definitely DM me or Louis or Pinky and let us know. Because again, you get to know people, and you yourself, I think, by answering the questions, will also know if you're really ready to put
And if
yourself
you're
out.
if you're interested in anyone on the panel, you could DM anyone. So remember that it doesn't have to be specific.
No,
Yeah, we'll just put
because
that
I got
out there.
lots of people DMing and it's
Yeah,
too
we'll just
much.
put that out there. We're just gonna put that out there.
No.
Don't DM me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, Louis, you're right. Yes, I'm with you. I hear you loud and clear.
Oh
Yeah.
Lord.
Y'all
So
didn't hear that?
definitely,
I didn't hear it.
He said what he said. So whoever listening to me heard it. I heard you.
so again, it'll be the last Thursday of every month. We will use a portion of the time to give people an opportunity to put themselves out there. And then, whoever might be interested can go in your DM and hit you up. And then we're going to bring you back at some point to just say how your experience was. If you even, because some people might go in your DM and then you realize you're not even interested. So,
Okay, wait. So what you're saying is, if I want to talk to Ranchi next week, I will get cards and pull from the cards and ask you questions?
No. We're going to have a panel. We're going to have a panel just like we're having now, and we're going to ask Ranchi questions and a female. Let's use Karen as an example. Sasha. If Sasha chooses to be the woman, if Ranchi chooses to be the guy, me, Debbie, and Janos is going to ask them questions about what are they interested, because we want them to introduce themselves to Facebook community, so that because they're ready to put themselves out there to possibly date. We don't know if they're gonna end up going on a date, but they're putting themselves out there saying, hey, if you are interested, you're gonna say it, right? Contact me, DM me, and I will have a conversation. We won't be in the middle of that. Now, the fifth Thursday, which we have a fifth Thursday in the month of September, if you choose to come back and tell us what your experience was, we are willing to have you. Now, your experience don't have to be that you choose to go on a date, because maybe you didn't. Maybe you just had some conversations in the DM and it didn't go anywhere. And maybe you have a meeting coming up in the future, whatever it may be. If you spoke to 2 people, 3 people, 10 people, if 100 people, we don't know. If you choose to come back on that 5th, and since September we have 5, every month we don't have 5, but September we have 5 Thursdays, you come back and you tell us what the experience was. So are you going to end up going on a date? That's out of our control. That's in your control. The only thing we're doing is offering you a panel to introduce yourself to the Facebook or Instagram or any one of the social media community that you will invite people in your life.
Okay.
Understood? And the questions are not difficult questions. They're like your name, your age, blah, 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 simple things like that, because you're introducing yourself to the community.
It's not that. We're not going to use that.
You don't have to know age. We're going to do birthday. We're not going to, I just use that,
Right, as an example.
Yeah,
but
because people want to know, basically, if somebody ain't interested in dating a 20-year-old, so you want basically know somebody's age.
That saved them the DM though, so you just tell them the age, man. Why we gotta be shame our age?
We can tell your age. I'm glad to be 48.
You gotta leave some things a little mysterious.
No, because I want to spring.
Don't divulge so much information. Make the DM interested.
I don't want no spring.
But then Louis, think about this. What if some a lady's looking at on the show and she's in her.
Well, when you DM me,
she's
you
a
gotta
young
DM me your
No,
particulars.
I'm just saying she's a young 60 and she wants to go in Ronchi's inbox.
The new
Check in
60,
emails
the
from
new
good
60 is looking like the 40s, man. Let me tell you, I see some.
I know that. That's what I'm
50-year-old
saying.
men.
Yeah, but it's
I've seen
still
some.
we're not
Yo, let
at
me
the
tell you.
age we're gonna say
Shoot.
about day. But people
Man.
want to know because I
think you
But
should
they-
be able to decipher whether or not you want to disclose.
But they can do that. They can send that in the DM. They don't have to, right? You don't have to
yeah,
talk
but
about
you
it
know
on the
what?
show.
Well, that's just filtering out more people.
Right.
If you're not interested
you
in a
want-
50-year-old
That's up to the
woman,
individual if they want to.
filter out people.
That's up to them if they want to divulge that information. That's up to
but
them.
we want to know if you got that will filter out people from the get-go because you don't know how much people gonna be DMing Karen, Sasha.
I prefer to filter people. I would
Right.
because that's DM checking is a lot of stuff. So if I don't
Right.
see this disclosure, I don't do under a
But that-
certain age.
That doesn't necessarily mean they still won't be in a DM, even if
Exactly.
they don't qualify to what you're looking for. Because you know the world we live in. There's the world.
And you could specify.
And like you said,
they would not DM you.
like you said, Sasha, when somebody said forbidden, like age forbidden, no, I ain't dating a 30-year-old. You're probably gonna get 100 30-year-olds trying to
Just
contact you.
because.
Yeah, just because they're going past the forbidden.
Yeah.
She called me a spring chicken.
What you said, Ronchi?
She called me a spring chicken.
So we just want to let everybody know, and we'll be reiterating it every Thursday, but so we already have our one guy for the month of September, so we need a lady. Also next week we are going to be touching on women, especially Black women. And you see so many, and now we're in the TikTok era, you see so many people talking about the Black woman in terms of she's angry, she's always saying she's independent, just showing up in the world a certain way and being pulled down, not only by outside other races, but also from within. And so we want to kind of talk about that, because I think that, it's easy to point fingers as to why people are showing up the way they are, but I don't think we have enough empathy and understanding for why people do show up the way that they show up. I mean, of course, counseling is definitely a part of that as well. But we're going to discuss that. And then the following week, we're going to talk on some issues for men. So it's not going to just be that we're only going to be talking about women, because again, if you yourself, a woman, is not attractive, and when I say attractive, I don't mean like outside beautification, inside, because there's things going on. It affects the way that you show up in this world. It affects how you show up in relationships. It affects how you attract. I was just watching a video on something where they were talking about all these Black women that are interested in men of the other race. And again, all of this kind of falls in that, because Tamar is now dating a white man, just so everybody knows. Tamar Braxton. But
Dating other races ain't a big deal no more.
I know it isn't, but for Black women, they seem to always get like talked about when they do that, so it's all of that we're going to be talking about next week.
Baby mama drama, all of that stuff. And our male guest is going to be Christian Carlos.
Okay.
Well, I would say to that is I posted a video yesterday, I think day before. The reason we are showing up the way that we are, because I'm considered one of those women, is because we are securely attached to ourselves. Yay!
She did the test. That I put on the page,
which I know about it because, of course, my degree. But not only that, if your partner is not where they're supposed to be, somebody have to take the lead. So yes, the alpha female shows up, and
right.
It is just the way that it is in every species.
We'll definitely be talking about all of that.
When you say your partner's supposed to be, who's determining that? And where is that? What that look like in a relationship?
What is determined is
We're not talking about that now.
Yeah,
Oh.
we
Sorry.
can't talk
They
about
want
we
time.
can't leave
Everybody to jump in all the way.
Because I mean,
But definitely,
all
but
right.
Louis,
Like,
hold
also-
that question. Hold that question for next week.
Well, can I just say real quickly
Sure.
who determines it? Who's determining that is the person who's the people who are identifying females as alpha females, right?
I'm
Not
talking
just
about in that,
female,
I'm
but
talking
alpha
specific to
female.
that relationship. I'm talking specific to that those two individuals. They need to be decide. Again, you saying that the alpha female, who's determining who takes the lead? I mean, what is it that he's not doing that she's coming up with? And what is that she's not doing that he's coming up with? I mean, it's such a delicate, to me personally, I think it's all about conversations, a delicate balance that you guys need to determine amongst each other. No
I
one
think
person that
it's-
said,
I
I'm the
think-
one.
I don't think it's a discussion. I think it's just instinct kicks in and you
I don't think
follow your roles.
you don't
Oh,
discuss who's the
Yeah, but
alpha.
we
No.
were going to the whole conversation about gender roles, or because is it a man being a
Right.
man? If that's the case, then let me be a man.
No, it's not about letting you do anything. It's about if you're doing it or not.
Well, obviously, I'm doing it
Or
because
if
I'm with
I'm
you.
doing it or not.
Obviously, I'm there because you're with me. We're together. So what's happening? If that's the
Something
case, then somebody got why stay in a
something
relationship?
happened. Something happened.
Why stay in a relationship then?
It's not about leaving a relationship either. It's about figuring out the roles. And it doesn't have to be male, female. It could be
But the thing is,
alpha
why we
female
figuring out roles?
in a lesbian relationship.
I find that's a problem today. Why we figuring out roles? Use man.
Yeah, I still
Because
think
we
it's a
all have
little.
roles, even in today's society.
Why use it today as an insult to insult the man? If you independent,
No. Wait,
Why
Ranchi.
use that as a thing now? Like,
Ranchi.
I gotta take over the house because the man weak. No, we get
No.
the same thing.
No,
But that's what we're gonna discuss.
Debbie said that they're going to discuss why the black female, is being deemed these types of women.
Yeah,
So
because
that's why I was saying that. Not
the independence to disrespect men.
what? What?
We talk about it afterwards. Go ahead. We're gonna talk about this in a minute.
But we're gonna talk about
No, we're talking about it on the show, yeah.
Right. Yeah, but we're gonna have a backroom discussion.
No, because
Yeah.
we want to mess up the conversation next week.
We're gonna have a backroom discussion. about
We're
it.
going to have a backroom discussion.
We're gonna have
No,
a
I
discussion.
gotta go watch Game of Thrones. Me having no backroom.
We could say Game of Thrones.
That is simply.
I ain't gonna watch it. I ain't playing nothing. Huh?
Ain't just a man.
No, I'm watching the old one then. And I deep in. I gotta watch it. I gotta watch my show.
10 years
If you want, I think we go. You want us to reserve like the post that you made.
Yeah, we'll talk about it next time.
with
Yeah,
the
yeah.
men?
But I mean,
Yeah.
we could just.
No,
all
but
right.
no.
No, next
But
time. Next time.
And again, this can roll into for next week. Like I was telling everybody, that it came out last. I think it was yesterday, the day before, that one of Nick Cannon's children's mothers, because I don't really understand what the relationship is with all these different women, there's one that's going to be having a baby soon, but there's also another one that's also pregnant. And that is actually something that can be in our conversation because I don't know if I haven't heard him say he's in a polygamous relationship. But there are, forget how many women, it's like 5 women that have babies for him. But I just find it so interesting that, of course, like a lot of people think it's okay, I guess, because he got money and he can take care of them, but
he thinks it's okay because he have money and he could take care of it too.
Yeah.
So we talked about that, Debbie Roll. That same thing I said. They're accepting it because clearly, he's a mogul. He's on the next level. So that's I don't even think it's a concern for them.
Nope.
I don't.
He has the type of his money makes money.
I don't see why he should be. I think if he could afford to have,
he's what you call a 1% later on.
If he could have afford to have 15 children, have them.
Yeah.
It's not like he's having.
He loves his kids.
Right.
I know people don't believe that.
And they can't even take care of themselves, but they're making 15.
Right. And he believe in he love his kids.
He loves
so
his kids.
who are we to Well, I mean, it's as long as he could take care of them, and the
I
government don't have to take
But
care of them.
again, we're talking about in terms of Nick. But what about these women?
They make a conscious decision. He forced them. Obviously, they take
Right.
photo shoots.
Well, if you
Right.
think about it, if Nick came to you and said, "I want to have a baby with you,"
Yeah,
and he's a
boy and girl. I
billionaire,
want twins.
and your child is going to be set for life, and you want a kid, and you've been waiting for somebody to show up to have a kid with, and he
Who could
show up,
afford it.
why not have a kid with him?
And you know, to add to Nikki, there could have been some legal agreements. There could have been some documentation involved. Who knows? Especially
That's
with that level,
I
you know,
won't even stutter.
of paper that he have, it'll probably have some sort of agreement.
What you said? You said no, Sasha?
I say I won't even stutter. Let we go.
Me too. Hallelujah.
I
Tell
want
it.
twins. As a matter of fact, let's do in vitro so I could get triplets. So we could get 3 one time. I done.
As long as he could take care of them, I good.
Yeah, because you look at it this way, right? You know, and I
No,
can
we
speak from
saying this
experience.
because
You're
he's a
out there,
billionaire.
Yes, he could take care of children. Why
He's
not?
not. He's worth 45
For
million.
baby daddies and baby mamas
Exactly.
and how they affect relationships, right? So, but okay,
Be involved with each other too. Okay.
And it's better than a marriage because we this ain't what the Bible says law. This is science saying it's law. We stuck together for life. Because even after these kids make 18, you still gotta deal with these baby daddies. Well, not everybody. But I mean, I don't see the problem. I would sign that agreement with a blindfold on. I practice my signature with a blindfold. At the time he asked me, I don't got my treacher name made out.
I wouldn't be, it wouldn't be the case for me because I don't look at him as a vehicle of wealth. I look at it as this is a man who loved kids, all his kids. He always talking about his kids and he taking care of kids. He being a father to them.
Yeah,
That's what I wanted for my kid.
Factors that he's loving. He loves his kids obviously, and he could afford to have them. If certain religions, if you want to have a second wife, you have to be able to afford a second wife, and I think it should be so for having kids. Like every time you decide to have a child, can you afford to have a child? These people don't think about this. Can you afford to lose sleep? Can you afford to get stretch marks? I mean, sometimes if we really look at what we are giving up to,
I don't think that's the thought process for most.
Yeah, that's my thought process. Like,
I didn't have it, but now I wish I did. Them babies would have been small. I would have just not eat so much. But
I stop at 2. That's all I could afford, and I still them. But I think if we have those upfront topics, if we look at these analysis and say basically,
I mean, we can look at that. We can look at we're in a position now to have that discussion now, but we didn't think about that.
Arrogant, but they ain't broke surrogate, and they
years
ain't
ago.
a stamp line asking somebody to take care of their children. That's all I'm saying. He meet the factors. He could take care of children. He loved them.
Yeah. If I could have had a surrogate, I would. If I could afford one.
Me too. Because pregnancy ain't no joke. So I think to each his own. To each his own. But I'm saying he could afford it. Why not? They're having children
because me and Debbie got 4 children, and we don't know. Karen, you had everybody got kids on the panel,
exactly,
and we know that having kids, raising children in society, yeah, money helps and money makes things easier, but there's far more issues that we deal with our kids.
And for me, I am a 28 strong single parent. When I tell you single, like the number -1. I'm single, so I can speak from the experience. If I was given the opportunity to have a Nick Cannon baby, I would have, because I understand the struggles of having a child by yourself who have to not only financially, but mentally and physically have to take care of them by yourself. You have to make decisions where you have to question your own sanity. Like, am I making the right decision?
So let me say this.
I used to have to write it down. Like I used to be like, so it's not even about the finances. Sometimes it's not even about the financial aspect. It's about the mental and emotional aspect that you have to go through and not only raise them as a mother, but try not to be a father, but be a father. So I speaking from that perspective. So for me, if the opportunity was presented to me after the fact, like, you say, I wish I knew then, I would have.
They say he's a good father, and they say he does show up for his kids' stuff, and they say he does do all of that. So,
and then the bonus is that he have money. But that's the important part. It's like showing up for your kids.
But these are not. But these are also not broke women either. I mean,
No.
these are women who are movers and shakers in their own right.
That's
In
true.
their own right, yeah.
Hmm.
Because
Louis,
like,
what was your question?
Yeah.
Louis,
I
you
was
were
just
gonna
saying,
say
I mean,
something?
I think based on what Karen said, because let's be honest, he's not gonna be there 24/7. So I think the financial aspect makes it easier, but
It makes it easier.
you're still gonna be alone. You're still gonna be raising that child most of the time by yourself. You're still gonna have those different aspects, but I think the financial part of it just eases that burden a bit.
Look at
'Cause
all
now
the siblings that child will. Look at all the siblings that child will have to help them along the way too.
Everybody got
Yeah,
to
I
be
don't know. To me, it just
positive,
seems like a
But
everybody.
mess,
again,
but that's
you know,
just pinky.
the
I believe in
financial
the
portion.
traditional. I appreciated me having a husband supporting me 24 hours, even though he didn't. And he had a job and he went to work and all of them things. But he came home. He came home every single day. Yeah, I mean, he didn't, but I just saying, I appreciate this was his home. We were a family together. We had Thanksgiving, Christmas, family things. Them things is important to me. It might not be important to everybody, but he got to spend Thanksgiving with 6 different families and all that. Like I had 6 different.
Oh, you never know.
No.
But everybody's different.
He's gonna fly
Everybody's
everybody out.
different.
He's gonna fly everybody out to Nick Cannon Ranch, and
Yeah,
everybody gonna spend Christmas together.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then I
Everybody
got
going
beat
to
up with
Dubai for
baby mamas
Thanksgiving,
and
right?
all that. Me personally, but I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying everybody know what they want in their life and what they want. And I know for Trina, I just want tradition. I want simple.
That's
I don't
okay.
want telling hip woman around me.
You wouldn't look.
Mm-mm.
You can't look at this as a traditional relationship. It is already non-traditional in every respect.
I don't know who said this, but that was very, like, money is the main factor, but why would someone choose a man that has so much children? I don't know. I wouldn't want it for Trina.
Too, and he can give
I
them.
don't care about money.
I'm saying.
No, but he shows up. It's not even he shows up.
It's not about. That's right. It's not about necessarily the money. It's about the fact that he cares about being a father. And I understand you can't father 50 children all at the same time, but you can be a father to each child. You can be a different father to each child anyway, even if you have 4 kids. It's different relationships.
Yeah, you don't love your kids more. You just love them differently. I have 2 kids.
you do.
I love them differently. I have a different.
Each one of them is a fingerprint. So
we live in a different time.
Look at the other aspect. We have these men out there who have 15 children for 17 different women, and anybody talking about they broke behind and they got these women.
But he's the same. I mean, we're exaggerating when we using them extreme numbers,
and they still don't show up for none of the children. They don't show up to graduation. And we have some of them who don't show up to kindergarten, 1st grade, every graduation, and they don't even walk with a gift. Your child don't see you between September and January, but you showing up to graduation.
We had 4, and it was very difficult for my husband, who had a job, to be to a lot of his children functions and to be there. He had to work on holidays and everything to feed the family. But at the end of the day, we were a family unit, and we still had so many other issues. So I just don't know. I just don't see money being the answer, because I think there is people who are.
I think the money is the icing on the cake. Like, you got a main cake, you got the flour and the sugar and everything. I think money is just like the topper of it. It makes it sweeter, like a deal. You go to buy a house and then they're throwing homeowners association fee for 18 months. Okay, I don't have to pay that. Money just makes the deal sweeter. But when you look at it, do you want a father that out there making 15 children and just not even emotionally showing up for a child? You know,
I don't want him out there making 9 children and have 4 baby mamas. I don't want that. No, to me, it's the same thing. Like,
and we go back to each its own. Everybody's experience and background speaks for how they feel. And like I said, I'm speaking from the other side of the table. And but I grew up in a traditional home. I grew up in a traditional home when my dad was there. But when I close my eyes, like, I could be in Timbuktu and somebody said they're going to do something to me. I know I'm going to get my father. And my father going to take care of it, because that was his stance. He was a protector and a provider. So I had no doubt. You know what that does for a child? The confidence that they have. I walked with confidence.
Mm-hmm. Like, we didn't have that. We had 2 families. We had 3 families. And we kind of mess up for that. So I coming from our older sister got issues. You know, we got issues, and they had issues. And financially, he felt like he was doing his most best for us. But I wanted a dad. I wanted the support of a father, you know? And so when he had to do other things with his children and he couldn't do it with me because he had another family to take care of, that was very hard on us. And so for me, I decided a marriage, one husband, children, all finchers, and we good. So yeah, like you said, we coming from different backgrounds. So for me, that situation, if Vincent had just a thought of it, I was like, yeah, no.
My dad worked from 6 a.m.
do all,
to 6
yeah.
p.m. He provided and he protected, but he never showed up to any of my graduations. But it never discredited the fact that I knew he cared, because that security was there for me. So like I said, it comes from, everybody has like a diversity.
Everybody has a different.
So you speak from a different perspective when it comes to that. But for some people, it's not important. Like some people, they don't care about the money. They want that man there every night. Like I want you there every night. I want Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And, you know, every other weekend. That's good for me. I'm cool with that.
Oh, wow. And also,
you need to get a suit that says
I wanted to add that Vincent had the same situation, because I think his father had over 10 kids with maybe, I don't know how many women. I don't want to, and he did not want that for his family. He did not want that for his wife, nor did he want that for his children. So again, that's where my perspective is coming from, our experience. But Ranchi, you were trying to say something. No, Nikki claimed she.
Oh,
I thought you had something to say, Ranchi. You have
yeah, but Ranchi, you should speak. Well, you know,
we can't have it all. So
from your vantage point.
I'm a father to three different kids, to three different moms, and a stepdaughter. Or my ex-daughter is also considered my daughter as well. So I got 4 girls, 1 boy, and I dare for all of them to have a capacity I could be there for them.
Would you double that number, Ranchi?
With money and comfort living for whoever the mothers be here.
See?
So I'm not. I won't knock Nick Cannon. I won't say he's a bad guy for having kids. He have kids. They have kids. Once you're there for them, and they know that you're part of their life, you're good.
Mm-hmm.
I like you said, Debbie said, we don't know. People background dictates the walk in life, right?
Right.
And so we don't know what to motivate a lot of people. We know what motivates us and why we do the things we do. Because if you look at me, everybody were like, when she get pregnant, they were like, what, being a twin sucks, right? Because when she get married, everybody were like, when you gonna get married? Then she had baby 1. What? You're married, you got baby. What was I now with you? Your sister ahead of you. And on and on and on. I was always. Ranchi didn't know that?
Only know Ranchi. Only.
He's silly. You didn't know that?
Yeah, he's twins.
Yeah.
Oh, you just say sisters all the time. So you thinking it as sisters?
No, they're fraternal twins.
Yes. So growing up with somebody who's the same age with you, doing things that everybody think you should be doing too, was very hard. I was like, I don't want to get anybody the egg that I have. I don't want to end up like how my mother end up. You know, Pinky was lucky. I that wasn't guaranteed. My older sister had a child that was disabled. And so I look at her, she used to cry every day, just about after she had her, because she was left, like you said, Sasha, it was left up to the mother. And if it wasn't for the family that we had, I don't know what my sister would have been. Your family is everything. So I learned that family is everything and that I can't trust what coming. You know, so unless it was certain for a fact that this person will gonna be there 100%, if I get married, if I get children, even if being married, that's why I don't have no kids today. Nobody showed up that way. Nobody in my mind showed up that way for me. And so I was like, I ain't doing it. I'm not doing it.
And that's why it makes sense that you would with Nick Cannon, because you don't, right? Everybody's different. So she don't have any kids, right? if she could go back in time, she would have them, and she'd have them for Nipka, and he'd pay for it,
Oh,
and
yeah.
she'd be fine, right?
Yeah.
So again,
If
everybody,
he wanted me, yeah.
yeah, everybody's
And that's
situation
why
is unique.
And that's why I say, like, we live in such a judgmental society, and we
Yes.
have to really, again, you don't know people's history, or
You
you
don't.
know what, I mean, because we don't even, honestly, we know what the social media and the media tell us in terms of his relationship with these women. We don't even know that, you know what I'm saying? So, and the same thing goes for everybody else. And so you just have to walk your walk. And I think learning other people's history and life experiences should also teach us empathy, for why people show up the way and make the decisions that they
Right.
make. You know what I'm saying?
At least us at this age, I think we should not be so quick to judge in dating. In dating, you and I always say this, I tell Trina, you can know everything about a person and still do you wrong. It's not about knowing, it's the heart of that person. And
Right.
so if that isn't present, then everything else is an issue.
Correct.
Right? But why is is that heart there? That's what you need to know. Mommy used to always say, you gotta understand where it come from. If you understand where it come from, then you stand a better chance. Because she don't tell you, no, you can't be with he. They ain't right. Their whole family messed up. You can't be with he.
You have to know where they come from to know where you're going. Like if you don't know, if you don't fully diverse your past, like there's a lot of decision through therapy that I'm learning that is affected. Like I tried, like, I mean, being single, like I'm comfortable being single.
Mm-hmm.
But underneath, I really want to be in a relationship. But my ideal relationship is what I experience that I don't want. And I didn't realize that I spent my entire life fighting what I don't want, that it eliminated what I really truly want, which is to be in a committed, loving, honest, truthful, dedicated relationship. But I was so busy saying, I don't want this, and I don't want that, and I don't want this. I didn't nurture what I wanted.
Correct.
So me not nurturing what I wanted and causing that to go to attract what I truly wanted, I spent more time and energy fighting what I didn't want.
Right.
And it goes back to my forbidden behavior. I was told that I can't raise 2 kids by myself.
Mm-hmm.
But what I did, I successfully raised 2 kids, college graduate, college educated. They ain't got no children, they ain't swinging from a pole, and they ain't got no drugs.
Amen.
And I did it by myself.
Right.
From the time they were 2 years old and 3 months old. So that was something I was told I can't do. So that's a trigger for me. Like, you telling me I can't do something motivates me to not only be disobedient, but to show you, no matter what it is you were told you can't do, put your mind to it and you could do it. Like, that's the quickest way. So for
the other thing, Sasha, with that too is,
gentlemen, be careful.
If you
Gentlemen, be careful what you tell Sasha, because don't tell her don't do this and don't do that.
Okay, that's true.
They might just do it just because they really want her to.
But they might want. They might
do that.
Don't shrink from
and
that.
I had someone pull that on me the other day.
What's wrong with you?
If I was saying, like, to go back to like when my mother was trying to instill something in us because she didn't know any better, right? It could have been that the family maybe didn't look good on the outside, but they were truly a close-knit family, and I may have benefited from it. But because of her point of view, I was like, okay, well, whatever she said, even though I would be a fighter because she had the last say, it was like, but no, you think about it, what we can't live like that anymore.
That she had the last say. It was that she planted
No.
a seed.
Well,
you question, because at the end of the
right.
day, we never stop us from
No, but and the other side of that is, look how far we've gone outside of that, right? That's for St. Croix. That don't work for Texas. That don't work for where we are now living. You don't get to know people, family, and get to figure out what a family is. They have to share with you what the family background is. And until you understand that, you really don't understand them.
we are products of our environment, yes, but at the same time, Ranchi, sorry?
I say cannot compare island living to big city living.
It's true. It's,
Right.
Yeah.
You live in a big country, people just move
I
around,
mean,
shuffle around, so
clearly,
you can't trace.
different cultures,
Like,
different beliefs, different ways of thinking. I mean, just a
But
whole
not
lot.
even that, the
a whole lot.
connections. Like, there's a lot more connections to get to
Of course,
understand
that's
somebody. Whereas
we
on
will-
an
we will-
island, you know the mother
Right.
chain, you know the grandmother. You can ask your parents about the cousin and this and that and that and that. Everybody
Right.
knows each other. But whereas if you're living in the States, you're running into a person maybe once every 3 years. You know,
And I think that's why dating is so hard for Caribbean girls.
so
You
it
know,
has-
because we always got some background information. When you out here now, you trying to date or whatever, you have no background. You're so used to people saying, well, I know that person, I know their family, I know them from up the street, they grow up on the hill, on the corner. That don't happen here, you know? So that's out of the question. You
And
really
even,
have to get
but I think even now, just because of how the world is, even island living, especially for let's say for us as Virgin Islanders, it's even not as easy as it was back then because people are not living at home as much. People are, so you might know their family, but you don't know what this, the other part of the family is doing now because they're living in the States and they're doing whatever they're doing. So I just think it's kind of the world that we live in.
I don't think family necessarily define individuals.
No, it
That's
doesn't.
true.
It does
Right.
not.
So I think we buy into a false sense of security
True.
when we
Correct.
look at, because I know Karen and family. That don't mean I know Karen. Or I know Karen from junior high or high school. That don't mean I know Karen today.
But they come
And I
from good
think we-
people. They come from
Yeah,
got
like
big
we
good.
grown people, we had experiences, and today we have to stop and we have to get to know people for who they are. Because not because your mother was a certain way or your father was a certain way, that means you're gonna be a certain way. A lot of people decided not to be who their parents was because they did not grow up in environments that was healthy.
Or
And they
it's just
decided
a
not to
sense
do
of
those
defiance too. I mean, it's like Karen, like, it's from you expect them to be, like everybody expected to be like your parents. No, I don't want to be like them. I want to be me.
things. Exactly. Exactly.
But regardless of what, guys, the apple don't fall too far from the tree. So don't get it twisted that you so
The apple
different.
don't fall too
you
far,
may have
but-
made decisions that's better than your parents, but that is still in you, and it does come out. It will come out in some form or fashion.
It'll come out in some form, but
I
we are
think
conscious
what
of
comes
it,
out
and we
is
could
the
not all the time.
upbringing. The upbringing is what comes out because the moral,
That's
the
right.
moral aspect of that is what I think you would see. But still, you want some type of individualism. You still want to represent who you think you are,
right.
aside from your parents. Again, the morals they're going to teach you how to be a good person. We all know that everybody wants that, but you still going to be. I know for me, speaking from my experience, I defiant like hell. You know what I mean? I'm still a solid person, but still there was levels of defiance. I could tell you that off the back.
Yeah.
And that's just me wanting to be different or not, going against the grain, not with the grain.
Everybody to go against the grain, don't you find? I mean, all of us do.
Of course.
That's
of
because
course.
we find in our path.
Right.
Of course.
You know?
And I wanted to
pushing the
also,
envelope on many levels.
I wanted to address what Karen has said, that she was doing she was, when she was looking for relationships, she didn't know she didn't know what she was knowing what she didn't want and was fighting against it. And me and Debbie talked about that yesterday. I think a lot of times we are afraid to want something good. I think a lot of times we don't even think we could ask or even receive. So you say you want a good person, and my thing is a good person, an honest person, a committed person. Sometimes we're afraid to ask for those things because we don't think we're going to receive it based on what we've had experiences in the past, right? And it takes something totally different, maturity, courage, knowledge, spirit. I don't know, it'll take a whole plethora of things to get us to reach to that place to where we could say, this is what I want. Like you could now say, I want a committed relationship.
It took therapy for me. It took me going to a therapist and learning certain life tools and certain tools that even when my therapist tell me about it and they're so simple, I was like, that's it. But knowing the tools and using them is two different things. I didn't have the tools.
And that's actually something that I really I'm I'm trying to get the right people on, but I really want us, because we've talked about that many times before about doing the counseling and people going to counseling, and you're proof in the pudding that how effective counseling can be in just changing your mind.
Even in this day and age, it's still looked upon, because even when I mentioned that, and it happened to me when my daughter mentioned she was going to therapy, I want to know how bad of a mother I was that you have to be in therapy. Like, wait, yes, I do. Oh my God, did I destroy your life? But then I felt it when I decided to go to therapy because of certain issues, and I disclosed it. At one point, I was ashamed to say that I'm actually in therapy, because we want people to think I, ain't good in the head. But
don't talk about it, because I definitely want you to come on that show.
But like I said, I learned the tools and I learned how to use it. But what Pinky was saying too is like a plant. I was more watering what I didn't want. So I focus, just like a plant. You water the plant, you give it fertilizer and everything, it's going to grow. So all I saw was what I didn't want. And that's all that showed up.
But that's how we speak.
That's about speaking, right? Affirmations into this world.
That's about manifestation, because we said, I don't, because I've been there, I did it. I don't want this, I don't want that. I don't, because I did not know that I was going to receive or will receive or were worthy enough, all these things. And yes, therapy helped, it helped you, Karen. But for me, it was my relationship with God, my relationship with spirituality, knowing my what. And that took years to get there. But, the Bible teaches us when you pray, you ask and you believe, right? I used to struggle with that. That was one of my struggles. Like, you asking for something, but do you really believe? So, we all get to the place differently.
Right.
But that's a major thing, Karen. And we are all to do it to ourselves.
Well,
it's time. We gotta go.
Yeah.
We gotta go.
We went 30 minutes.
Yeah. So again, we are officially going live next week. It'll be 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. So definitely y'all come in a conversation. Thank you, Wanda, for putting out your comments tonight.
And we will have Carlos next week.
And so I look forward to the conversation, because I'm sure it's going to be intense. And again, anybody or anybody who's listening to this, if you're interested in being showcased on our Thursday, definitely hit us up so that you can join us on that day. And other than that, everybody, please stay safe.
Good night, everyone.
Good night,
Thank you.
Thanks for inviting me.
Thanks for the comments.
Thank you.
Wishing everyone good things, great things, and beautiful things.
Same.
Take care.
Same to you, Janos.